Окей.
Ну, давай.
Запрошуємо вас до України.
For participating. In Germany, in the media, also especially in the alternative media, the Svoboda party, and especially what is called the right sector, are portrayed as fascists that hate Russian people and say kill all Russian people. And so you are from Kiev, and what do you say about this? Is the Svoboda party and especially also the right sector, are they fascists in your opinion? Are they trying to fight Russians in the Ukraine?
Yeah, so my name is Hannah, I've been born in Kiev, and my opinion, not my opinion, what I know about right sector and about Svoboda. This is normal, regular guys, students, more mature men, or not a woman, but woman is not participating in the parties that much at the moment. But they're regular guys who are trying to protect their land and who try to protect their rights. And if to take in consideration the Ukrainian history in general, Second World War, Russians been trying to destroy our language, destroy our country quite I don't know, hectically or quite, you know, and intense, yeah. And also Ukrainian language on East bloc of Ukraine was not allowed to, we was not allowed to speak in Ukrainian language, and the Ukrainian language books been destroyed and stuff. And I mean, if to take in consideration our history, it's not. You know that there is a war now on the side of Ukraine, and there is a lot of also saying that a lot of Ukrainians, they do want to be in Russia. They do want to be Russians. Why? Because it is by history happened that that side of Ukraine more pro-Russian than Central or West Ukraine, and also in Second World War a lot of Ukrainians been taken to Siberia, and a lot of Russians been put in actual Ukraine on the side. So they ethnical Russians who live there, and they obviously do want to live in Russia. That's why we're hearing that they really want to be in Russia. In my opinion, if you want to live in some other country, pack your things and go to other country. If you're not happy about the economics or politics of the country, you're just moving to another country. It's to speak about Svoboda and to speak about right sector. Those boys, they're more radical in regards of, okay, if I'm a girl and I can say I'm loyal to every single person, they may be more radical. You know, you in my country, please speak in my language. Don't speak in Russian, speak in Ukrainian language. But they're still human beings, and they're not fascist. Also, I want to say that there is a lot of, I'm hearing a lot that Russian being pressured. Russian language being pressured in Ukraine. It's not true. If to look in, especially look in Kiev and Donetsk, Luhansk, all the magazines in Russia, all the media in Russia, we completely have half-half. Half Ukrainian language, half Russian language. No one ever been pressured in Ukraine about the Russian rights. If you want to speak in Russian, you can speak in Russian. If you want to speak in Ukrainian or English, you can speak in any language you want. And that they finding now all those ridiculous reasons to come and try to save half of Ukraine, I do believe it's all not just fake reasons to go and grab some more land and make quite big mess in our country. Yeah. Also, one more thing, I heard one of opinions that Putin is for him it was scary that we stood up against our president, that we didn't want our president to be on top anymore because he stole too many money and he was destroying our country too much. So the people actually took him away and said the words, been democratically they said the words, and I heard the opinion that Putin is afraid that Russian people can take example from us. And that's why he had to do something, so he wouldn't. He will convince his people that we are fascists, so we wrong, and then they would think we wrong, and that they will never do what we did. If they're unhappy, and I believe as well. One last thing. Economics of Russia is so bad, and people in villages live there so poor. I would say look in your own country and bring up economics of your own country and try to build up your country and to be, I don't know, a successful country. No, he doesn't care about his people. He wants to get into someone's other like capital, other lands, you know, other countries. So right. I'm not, I don't like what Putin does right now. Yeah. I'm more than sure most of them do, and they are normal people, because it can't be that for 24 years of independence of Ukraine we never had fascism, and then in 2013 somehow fascists appeared. No, we never had fascists, we just had the regular people who was living in this country. When things started to happen badly, then people started to stand up for their rights. That's what the right sector does now. The people just standing up for their own rights. And I want to tell you one more example. I have one of my greatest friends. He was always a Russian talking person, and I was always Ukrainian talking person. I was raised like this. And he, I remember, was in my house one day, and he heard me speaking in Ukrainian. It was 10 years ago, and he said, "Oh, I can't. This Ukrainian intelligent language, it's making me sick." And I was thinking he is. When I was still friends with him, it's okay. What happened then? Now, in 2013, when Maidan revolution in Kiev started, when a war came into Ukraine, he started to speak completely Ukrainian language, and I still can't believe that one of my best friends, Russian-talking guy, who was like a Ukrainian cool Kiev rapper, became completely Ukrainian-talking person, and he said, "We support our country now as much as we can. I can support now with showing my respect to my language." That was his opinion, and that's the way he raised his son now. You know, so this is a regular boys and guys. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So you've heard about the massacre in Odessa, where supposedly 140 people have been burned by some right-wing Ukrainian fascists. What's your take on that?
I never been there at that time, so I can't like if on Maidan revolution I was here in Odessa, I wasn't there. One thing what I heard that the people who was burnt, they've been poisoned by gas before, because the way they've been founded, they will open mouths, and like everyone was frozen in the same way, like they've been actually poisoned by gas, and then they've been burnt. It's what I heard, so I can't really tell and comment on that much. Yeah.
Okay. So then.
But who burned them, or who burned them, or who poisoned them? I mean, if they've been poisoned before, and then a fire started, who started the fire? Also, like I can't comment on that at all.
Okay. So. Many people in Europe and all over the world are afraid that a new Cold War or even a Third World War might emerge from this conflict between the West and Russia and China maybe. So what do you think is the opinion of the people here in Ukraine? Are people afraid of a big war? Is there a lot of insecurity, or you're confident everything is gonna go well? How is the opinion of the people here in Ukraine?
I would say for myself, I'm afraid. I'm afraid the Third World War actually started already. It does started quite slowly in the spots, like in Kiev, in Ukraine now. I don't think Putin will stop easily. I think it's hard to stop. When you start a war, it's hard to stop. Also look on, I mean, we're hearing about the wars in Syria, and there's something going on here, something going on. There is a lot of problems in Europe in general, like in economics problems. I do believe the world in 2014 now standing not in the greatest place or time. It's not the greatest time. Maybe in 3-4 years we will see much more better times. But I do believe we still don't know what's coming. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. You never know. So, and you think that the US is also responsible? Maybe. I mean, there's a paper, tactical US paper that is focusing on Ukraine as a tactical key area, for example, and also the US has invested 5 billion. I think Ms. Newland said that they're invested $5 billion in influencing the public opinion in Ukraine. So many people see the US as the aggressor in this conflict. So do you think it's just Putin's fault, or you think the US might also have started this conflict, maybe even?
I'll tell you my opinion, and I'll be quite radical about that. US and Russia always had a conflict, always had a Cold War vibes between each other, right? And at the moment, also people often asking me this question, at the moment Russia has a problem with us. In Russia, in media, they're often saying that they fight in Ukraine they fight with Americans. It's not true. In Ukraine, they're fighting with Ukrainians. There is no American person here. They don't kill Americans, they kill Ukrainians. Let's face it, that's a fact. So, yes, so Russia and America are in a Cold War, and Russia has a problem with Ukrainians, right? They're taking us over as well. Ukraine is now kind of as a, not a puppet, but like in a more on a we don't have army, we don't have resources to protect ourselves. And then we have America, who actually don't like Russia, and they want to destroy Russia or whatever they want to do with Russia. And then we have Europe. And also, I've been told, you don't need Europe, you don't need America, you need to be independent. Yes, we need to be independent, but because we don't have the resources right now, we need the help. And it's not that they care about us, America or Europe, they care about us too much, no, but it's in their interest to help us in some way, or economical or political, but it's in their interest, and we need to take a side. Or because by ourselves we can't protect ourselves, so we need to take help. And then after that, when we will be standing on our knees again, then we will try to make like agreements, I don't know, with America or with Europe to, okay, so this is, I don't know, our economic and it's our culture, please don't touch our hryvnia. We don't want to go to Europe, the euro. I don't know how it's going to be, but we'll see. But yes, I don't think America is conflict in it openly, but of course they are taking part. I mean, in certain way, but they are taking part of it, but they're not a reason why the Russians are here. Russians doesn't like Ukrainians, that's for sure.
So what do you think is the what started the conflict? What is what is Putin's goal? Why you think he wants to invade Ukraine, or what do you think is his motive for this action?
Ukraine has been independent since 1991. And since then, my grandfather was a fighter, Ukrainian freedom fighter. For 28 years he was in prison and for Ukrainian independence. And also he wrote Act of Independence in Ukraine for 1991. And he was saying to me, Hannah, I was fighting all my life for Ukraine to become independent, and now I have to stay alive to make Ukrainian government, to make government Ukrainian. I had to fight for all my life to Ukraine become independent, and now I have to stay alive, government make Ukrainian. In Ukraine, since our independence, our government never been completely Ukrainian. We always had those like pro-Russian thinking politics who would still Russia and Moscow especially, I mean Moscow, we always been dependent on them. We became independent, but we always been dependent on them. And this is the biggest reason, because when people stood up for their rights, Putin for first time felt like he doesn't have any control on us. I mean, and the snipers, it's still, we don't know, is the snipers been Russian snipers or Ukrainian snipers? I mean, it's hard to believe it was Ukrainian snipers who were killing Ukrainian people in a year ago in revolution. So I do believe that Russia have this mindset of Russian empire. And they, if you look in Soviet Union, they want to bring back Soviet Union lands and Russian empire to become the most strongest, I don't know, I mean Russian empire, it's a long time ago gone, and he can't let it go, and it's hard for him to lose countries what he can't control anymore. And but we never want to be part of Russia. We are different, our mentality is different, and that's the reason. I mean, he doesn't have control on us anymore, so that's why he had to put an army in Crimea, occupy Crimea. Then he had to try to get a little bit of Donbass, a little bit of Lugansk, so he have at least some power still, you know. And this is, I suppose, is the last, I don't know, last things what he could do in situation where people actually stood up for their rights and said we don't want to be with Russia anymore.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I think this will be interesting for people in Germany. And let's wish all together for peace, freedom and happiness for everyone.
Yeah.
Great?
Yeah, I hope peace and peace for Ukraine and for all world.
Okay. Danke.